Hey everybody, it's Heidi Hope and it's FAQ Friday. We are live from the Heidi Hope studio and it is November 14th, 2014, and I have some awesome questions from our audience today to answer for you. But first, I just want to remind everybody that there is only 1 week left to register for the Photographer Rising online workshops. You can learn all about them over on www.photographerrising.com. We've had some awesome registrations already come in, and I am super excited for the class of 2015. Also, I've been talking a lot about this in the newsletter for photographers. And if you aren't already subscribed to that, you really should be, because you're missing out on all the juicy details. And that you can sign up for that over on the learning blog, which is heidihope.com/learning. If you head to the learning blog, you'll see sign up boxes everywhere. As always, I want to know what you think about this week's episode of FAQ Friday, and you can just leave your comments, what you think, right underneath this video on YouTube or Google Plus or on the blog, wherever you're watching this. And if you haven't seen all of our past episodes, you can catch up on all of those during your editing, because I know pretty much everyone is buried in editing right now. It's the season for that. So these are fun to just plug your headphones in and listen to all of our answers here. All right, so let's get started on this week's questions. I'm just going to pull randomly here. I think we might get to them all this week. It wasn't a crazy busy week for questions, so hopefully we get to them all. And let's start with Molly. Okay, so Molly asks, hi Heidi. I've been going back on all your FAQ Friday videos. Thank you so much for doing them. They're so helpful. My question is, can you talk a little bit about using a window to take backlit images? Will a white sheer curtain work, and do you need one for backlit images? What settings should your camera be on? Metering. Can you discuss using natural light in general? Taking newborn pic. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's start at the beginning here. So backlit images, because this is a really frequent question that we get, and we do a lot of it in our studio. It's like a big part of our style here. So the backlit images all started for our business anyways, back in our old studio. And we were in a strip mall, and we just had this wall of windows. We ended up putting a clear kind of fogging over them. And that helped diffuse the light a little bit, because we had south-facing windows. When you have south-facing windows, they get sunlight all day. And in the winter, when the sun would drop lower in the sky, because we're up in the northern hemisphere, the sun would drop lower in the sky, and it would come in so bright. It was like too bright on our subjects. So we would get a lot of hot spots while we were shooting. So we ended up fogging the windows out. And then we also added curtains in front of that, because that's how strong the light was. Now, if I had north-facing windows, I wouldn't have to do all that stuff. But we were where we were. So we had a teeny tiny space to take pictures in. If you guys all saw it, you would laugh. And that's where we were for the first 4.5 years of our business. That's how we built this entire business. And most of the pictures that you've seen online came from that teeny tiny little studio space. So you don't need a huge space. You just need to know how to work with the light within that space. So the reason why we ended up doing a lot of backlit images was just because we didn't have a big enough space to accommodate a family in any other angle in the studio. The only way to get a nice big background for us was to shoot against that window. So that's what we did. And then that backlit style became really popular within our work, and our clients requested it really frequently. When we moved into our new studio, we wanted to keep that, obviously, because that was a big part of our style. So we wanted as many windows as possible when they were finishing the space. And then we hung up white curtains everywhere. So we'd have that big wall of light like we had accidentally at the old space. So what we have is just cheap curtains from like Bed Bath & Beyond. And we have sheers, and we have more opaque panels depending on the light. So if the light is soft, we can use the sheers. And if the light is hard, then we want to use the more opaque panels to block it out and soften it. So it really, really depends on where you are and how strong the light is. If the light is coming in directly, you're going to have to move your subjects further away from the light source if you want that soft look. Otherwise, you're going to have a silhouette. If the light is coming in really soft, then you can kind of open things up and you can let that light in. You may also need a reflector to bounce light back into the subject's faces. If the light is too strong, you can fill light with a reflector, or anything that, even just a white sheet acts as a reflector, or if a photographer wears a white shirt, that acts as a reflector. We've actually painted all the walls of our studio white because it's just like a giant reflector in here. So we don't even really need reflectors anymore. We just let the walls do all the work. But as far as camera settings, when you're shooting backlit, my recommendation is to shoot in manual exposure. Auto exposure is really difficult to work with when you're working with backlit images. If you know your camera well and you're comfortable with it, you can do aperture priority, and then you can set your exposure compensation to overexpose the image. But in general, when you're working with a backlit image, you're going to have to overexpose because there's so much light coming in from the background. Your light meter is saying, oh, there's so much light in the scene, we need to cut down our settings, let less light in the camera. Well, it's the background light that's giving it that registration, not the subject's skin tones. And so that's when you end up with a silhouette. So instead of doing that, I shoot in manual exposure, and then I can set it so that the subjects are exposed properly. And a lot of times that means my background's totally blown out, but I don't care about that in a backlit image. I'm not concerned about the background. I'm concerned about my subject's skin tones. So that's kind of how we work with it in our studio with the natural light. And it just depends what time of day. Like our big main shooting room faces east. So in the morning, the light comes in really strong. So we're pulling people away from the windows. We're trying to soften the light. And then at this time of day, where I'm airing right now, you can see it's like super soft light in here. And it's a lot darker actually. And so now I'm going to be pushing people closer to the windows so that we have more dramatic lighting and it's not so diffused. So every single situation is going to be different, totally depends on where you're shooting. My best advice is go manual exposure for backlit images and expose for the subject's skin tones. All right, great question, Molly. Thank you. I'm going to throw that there. Let's pull another one. We've got Deb asks, do you ever donate sessions or product or both to the community? Our city has an auction every year to raise money for food, toy baskets, or needy families during the holidays. My business is still a baby, so I'm trying to decide if I should donate or maybe wait until next year when my name may be more known. Thoughts? Deb, I think it's definitely a great idea to donate to charities, but I do think you have to plan it into your business. So we donate to a lot of charities, but it could be a full-time job shooting for free as well. So what we try to do is we try to support charities that are important to our clients. So some of the ones that we donate to frequently are the March of Dimes. There's AGC Scholarship Foundation, which helps families who are struggling with infertility, the Buckholtz Foundation. We do a diaper drive right within our studio. So if you bring in a package of diapers, this is really such a small thing. If you bring in a package of diapers, you get rewards points or a free print. And then we donate all of those diapers to the WIC, Department of Women, Infants, and Children, because diapers are something that a lot of families in need. Food stamps don't cover diapers. So we do that. So we try to really support charities, and generally we will give a gift certificate for a full session and either a print or all the digitals, or, you know, it just kind of depends on the charity and the dollar amount. But we donate thousands of dollars every year in auction items. And then we also do small stuff within our studio to help local charities as well. So I think it's a really amazing thing. For me personally, I feel really blessed that our business is very successful. But no matter where we were, I always wanted to give some amount, some percentage of my time and talent to people in need. And it really made it feel like I was making a difference. And I think as a business owner, a lot of people have trouble, especially women, for some reason. We have trouble having confidence in our business skills, in charging, in asking for what we're worth. But I think that if you can know that what you're doing with that money is making a difference in somebody's lives, is really giving it to somebody who's less fortunate, I think you can feel a lot more comfortable with what you're doing as a business, knowing that a portion of that is going to something that's really good and to people that are in need. So I definitely recommend, even if you're only giving a $100 gift certificate or one session a year, I definitely recommend doing it. We also get calls from a lot of people who are either sick in the hospital, their kids are sick, or the mom is sick or whatever, and I will just go out and shoot that session as much as I can. So I think that any way that you can give your gift to somebody in need. When I started the business, we were so busy, and I always thought to myself, like, I wish I had more time to make more of a difference in people's lives. And as we've changed our business, I feel that I have been able to do that more. And that's, I think, one of the best blessings of having a successful business, is that it frees up some time for me to be able to say yes to more people that are in need. But one thing I will tell you for sure, no matter how busy you are, when you choose to give your gifts to others, the time will open up for you to be able to do that, no matter how busy you feel you are. So start with something small, and I promise you, the more that you give, the more that you will get back. And it is up to you how much you want to start with. And plan it into your business. Make it part of your budget. Make it a portion of what you make go to that. And I think that you will feel really gratified in your work by doing that. Great question. I love that one. And great right before Thanksgiving too. Okay. Carrie asks, where do you get the birch trees, wood, and branches you use in some of your sets? I've checked 3 different craft stores. Are you using real wood? Yes, Carrie, we are using real wood. Those birch branches actually come from my mom's backyard. So she has some birch trees, and anytime they do tree work or something falls down, if there's a big storm, she's like, hey, Heidi, some more branches fell down in my yard. Do you want them? And I always do. And so we hike out into the woods and we drag those birch branches in. And we have had clients bring in branches before because we use them a lot in our pictures. So yeah, we find them out in nature and we drag them into the studio. I remember at our old studio, I found this huge branch on the side of the road after a storm and I dragged it in. And then I was so freaked out that there might be termites in it that we were all like so afraid there were termites. So we dragged it back out again. But so you want to be careful and check for bugs. But yes, we do take them all from the great outdoors. And another funny story actually about branches from craft stores. There was an online craft company that we used to order from. And I remember one year I saw this like stick that was all covered with moss. And I was like, that's awesome. And I don't know, I might've spent like $30 on it. Well, I got it in and obviously I didn't read the dimensions. It was like this long. So we paid like $25 for a stick with like one little piece of moss hot glued to it, which we could have walked outside and made ourselves. So always read the dimensions on things that you order online. But as far as sticks, you can find that stuff out in nature. You shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg for it. Okay. Amber asks, hey, Heidi. So I believe I remember you mentioning that you use Portraiture as part of your editing process. Yes, we do. Is there something that you run through Camera Raw when converting your image to JPEG, or do you add Portraiture to each individual image using different settings depending on the image? If you do add Portraiture to the images in a batch, do you mind sharing your settings? Thank you for all that you do for the photography community. Great question, Amber, and thank you. Okay, so we do use Portraiture. We use it in Photoshop and we batch it out. So we do our editing in Camera Raw, get the picture looking the way we want it to look, same thing as you would do in Lightroom. Then we open it up in Photoshop. So we'll open 10 at a time, let's say. And we just have an action that's recorded Portraiture, applies it as a new layer, and then we can paint back through. So to be honest with you, we use the default settings of Portraiture, but we put it on a layer with a layer mask. So then we just run it as a batch, and then we can go through and kind of paint it through if it's too heavy in certain areas for our image. But when you have an image that's like properly exposed and color balanced, the default settings of Portraiture are actually pretty decent. And then we usually will just turn it down. We can either turn the whole layer down or we can paint through certain areas using the layer mask to turn it down. So that's how we do that very quickly and efficiently. Okay, great question. We're almost all the way through here. We're not doing bad today. What are we doing for time? Oh, this might have to be our last question. It's a long one too. It's a big piece of paper. It's a paragraph. All right. Charisse asks, hi, Heidi, what elements do you make sure are there for Cake Smash sessions? Do you provide the outfit for them too, so it coordinates? For example, the session comes with a cake, outfit, backdrop, props. How do you decide what to put together once you have a theme? Do you decide the theme or do they? How do you make sure they have a safe cake pedestal? Do you also give clients regular portraits with the session or only Cake Smash pictures? Wow, that was a lot. I hope it made sense. Sorry, and thank you. That was a lot, but I'm going to answer them all for you. Okay, so Cake Smashes. Cake Smash sessions are full formal sessions at our studio, and the Cake Smash is the end of it. It's just the last 10 or 15 minutes. We provide the set. Clients bring their own outfits unless they want something in our studio, like we have a ton of tutus and diaper covers and stuff like that. So if they want to use that, they can, but oftentimes they want to bring a special sentimental outfit that they have picked out. Clients choose the theme. We do not choose the theme. This is something that's going to be hanging in their home. And I understand doing work for your own artistic fulfillment, but we are a studio that caters to our clients. And we want stuff that they are in love with, that they are going to want to hang in their home, that really choose themes that are either the child's birthday party theme or the nursery theme, or they might want to keep it really simple, basic colors. We talk to them about what they're going to do with the images. Are they going to put them on a first birthday party invitation? Are they going to put them on thank you cards? Are they going to hang them in the nursery? Are they going to hang it in their living room? All of those questions really make a difference in how we're going to style the set and what kinds of colors we're going to choose, because we want the images to be functional in whatever way that they're going to choose. We never want to just shoot a session and have everything sit on a disc or like upload it to Facebook and that's it. Because you can take a picture with your cell phone and upload it to Facebook. We want people to really cherish these photos. And so we try to cater the session to what they are going to love forever. So they choose the theme, but we work with them within that theme to try to kind of customize the set. And we're always asking them about their style. Some people love balloons. Some people hate them. Some people love tissue paper pom-poms. Some people hate them. So we ask them all these questions about their style and what they love. And then we try to incorporate that in a kind of unique way into the set. And then they bring the outfit unless they want to use something that we have here. And it is a full formal session. And then the end is just the cake smash. And I feel like I got to all your questions. Did I? Oh, and the safe cake pedestal. So those, all of our cake pedestals come from Sweet Indulgence, who they create all of our cakes. They're amazingly talented and so delicious. And they are our next door neighbors now. We actually moved in next door to each other. So they bring it on over right before they eat the cakes, they design the cakes, and they put it on the pedestal for us, and then they bring it right over to us. So we are very lucky to have such talented neighbors. And that's how that goes for us there. And I feel like I got to it all. Did I? Yep, I think that's it. Okay, awesome. Oh, I'm gonna do one more. Ready? Last question of the day. I'm picking a short one, sorry. Here we are. What is it? Katie asks, hi Heidi, happy Friday. Here's my question of the week. How many lenses do you own and what do you use them each for most of the time? Okay, so I don't even know how many we own. Really bad like that. I actually lost one. We just found it though. But yeah, so we have multiple photographers here. So we got a lot of equipment laying around. I know we have 350mm lenses. That is our most popular lens. We use that for almost everything in the studio. We use the 50mm lens. We have a 35mm lens. That's probably our second most popular for indoors. And then we have an 85, which I love. I think we only have one. Yeah, we have 185 and 170-200, and we use that for outdoor shoots. The problem with both of those lenses is they don't focus very close to the subject, and we're mostly photographing babies and small children, and so we're usually really close with them to interact with them and try to get their attention. So the longer lenses can be difficult. They're beautiful for older children and families and more candid shots and being away from the subject a little bit more. But when you're working with a 15-month-old, it's really difficult to get them to look up at the camera anyways. And so for those engaging shots, we really need a closer lens so that we can be close and interacting with them. So 50, 35, 85, those are our most popular. We have two macro lenses, a 60mm, and I think it's like 100mm. Those are the two macros, a couple 35s, 350s, the 85. So I don't know, what is that up to? 9 or 10 lenses. But for the most part, I think the most important lens is probably the 50 for a studio photographer like what we do here. The 50, we could probably run the whole business with just the 50, to be honest. So those are our lenses. Thank you guys all so much for all of your great questions this week. I hope to see you next week. And then we will probably be taking Black Friday off for Thanksgiving because we close the studio that day. So unless I'm broadcasting from home in my pajamas, we will probably be gone. We are going to continue this through the full month of December. And then we are taking January and February off from FAQ Fridays because Sean and I are traveling. We're going to Imaging USA this year. And I'm painting 2 hand-painted backdrops that are going to be going up for auction for Operation Smile at the PPA charity event the night before on that Saturday night. So we will be there and you have the chance to bid on one of our hand-painted canvases if you want to see that. But yeah, we're traveling. We've got workshops. So January, February, no more FAQ Friday for those months, but we will be back in March. So if you have some burning questions that you have to get them in the coming month because I will be here live with you every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And you can always find the call for questions out on Facebook. or Google+. There's always a fun little picture of me doing something stupid usually. And you can leave your questions right underneath that picture, and then I answer them live in the FAQ Friday. You can catch all of the past episodes on our blog, HeidiHope.com/learning. That's where all the old ones are. And please, if you liked this video, share it or leave a comment below this post. I love to hear from you and to know that I am not talking to nobody. Thank you all and have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.